Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request. And excuse any background noise. There's some construction going on and stuff, so I apologize for that. But, I mean, it's hard to get total peace and quiet, so do what I can. But this is for B McB. Thank you for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos or topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, whatever type of, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for Guy Ritchie's The Covenant from this year, 2023, which I'd vaguely heard about, really didn't know much else about it. And it stars Jake Gyllenhaal, who I do like as an actor. I liked him in this boxing movie he did called Southpaw. I've liked him in some other stuff too. I do think he is a pretty solid actor. He's here as a soldier in Afghanistan. This is, of course, before the whole... I don't even want to get into the whole BS where the president of now was so smart to take everybody out, and then like a month later the Taliban took over again, and then hundreds of people who helped us, interpreters and such, got fucking killed because our current regime is so smart and genius and wonderful and great. And I hope I can put on even more sarcasm to tell how absolutely 100% positively sarcastic I am, that in all truthfulness our government murdered a lot of people by their stupidity. Or call it a huge heaping helping of manslaughter, but that's a whole other fucking thing. So, people wonder why I hate the presidency we have now. That's one of them, because of stupid bullshit like that. But anyway, this takes place before that, where Jake Gyllenhaal has his team and they need an interpreter. They keep getting intel wrong. One interpreter gets killed along with one of his guys, so they get a new interpreter called Ahmed. And we find out that Ahmed, the Taliban, had killed his son, and this guy actually does his job fairly well. He's able to warn them that this other guy they have, his intel is bad, and in fact they're ready to go into a trap, and he saves them. He's doing his job well. This IED location is found, and fairly soon after that, they get under siege. The other men get killed. It's now just Jake Gyllenhaal and this interpreter, and they barely escape, and there's two of them on the run, and they get into quite a decent amount of skirmishes, and they definitely rack up some body count, kill some of them. At one point, Jake Gyllenhaal gets injured. Ahmed helps him, carries him, saves him. But when Jake wakes up, he's back in the U.S., he's with his family, but the guy who saved him, the interpreter, is in hiding. And for like the next month, he's making all these phone calls trying to find out how to get him out, and then he realizes he gotta get him out himself. So he gets some contacts, he goes back into Afghanistan himself in order to get this interpreter out. Now, this may not be the most original film, but, I mean, it's not even the first time Jake Gyllenhaal has been in a military film. I mean, he was in Jarhead, that film. Which, that's a film that I remember watching and going, well, nothing happens, but then you realize, well, that's the whole point of that film. The whole point is that nothing really happened. I mean, that's not the whole point, but that's... there's a lot more to go into with that one. But it's one of the films that I would say is the most... No. It's the least Guy Ritchie film I've seen, which kind of makes it interesting. Because you think of Guy Ritchie, you think of, you know, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, or some of these other movies. But like I say, I would not have guessed this was Guy Ritchie that made this. But again, that kind of makes it more interesting in a weird way for me because it shows that he could do a different type of movie. And I liked it. It's one of those few films of this year I did like. Like I said, it's not going to win any points with originality. I mean, there's been other films in a wartime event where you have an interpreter. Wind Talkers, the John Woo film. You have Nick Cage, and then you have the code talker, the Native American guy, played by Adam Beach. You know, it's or they get saved. There's been other movies where people get saved and they go back to save the person that saved them. But what made it work was that it was technically well made. Jake Gyllenhaal does a good job. He played sturdy and serious, but at the same time, he has some good emotional beats to his character. I like the guy that played Ahmed. I, I'm not good at pronouncing his name. I don't want to butcher it, but I thought he did a very capable job. The way it's shot, especially the action scenes and the skirmishes, uh, are efficient. I didn't notice any shaky cam going on when the other guys are getting killed. Even though it was this weird thing where even though I didn't know them that well, I still felt bad. Just kind of like, oh shit, well, they're gone now. And then kind of this realization, oh, okay, it's just going to be the two of them. Which I guess also fixes the whole how a lot of movies where the good guys hit everybody but the bad guys don't hit anybody and they're stormtroopers. Quite the opposite in this. And it shows that Jake and the other guy, Ahmed, are an efficient team when it's the two of them. And they're taking bad guys out either in a stealth way or you take this guy, take that guy. I kind of like that section where, again, Jake is a pretty decent amount of body count on him. And I'm sure someone would watch this and accuse it of white knighting, or I'm trying to, what's the phrase, where white savior movie, even though it shows how both are helping each other, how we can help each other, and how both are important, how both made this work, how, again, this Ahmed helped save the team earlier on by showing that this other guy was full of shit. Or, again, this guy carrying Jake through all this terrain and all of this. And that was decently edited. To show a span of time. Like he's carrying the guy in his daytime, and then without missing a beat, boom, it goes to nighttime and sort of the same camera position. And saves Jake, and then Jake's home with his family, and as he's sitting there talking to his wife, he's going, I'm lying here in this bed, and he's hiding in some hole somewhere. I like when he gets to one of his commanding officers, and he goes, there's a hook in me. One you can't see. Pretty much saying, I owe this guy my life. I would not have been able to see my family again without this guy. And I like his passion of I want to do whatever I can to get this guy out, by hook or by crook. And spoilers, he is able to find the guy. He's able to, after some firefighting and some explosions, able to get the guy out, escape. So again, it's not something that's going to work the wheel in terms of war movies or action films. It's nothing, quote, original. But I thought it was still well made. It was a good looking movie. It was a well acted movie. The action scenes worked for what they needed to work. There's a decent amount of drama. There was a whole lot of unnecessary plot points of subplots going on. I didn't feel the film was too. I didn't feel the film was boring. I thought I went at a good enough pace, and it did not need to be and thankfully it wasn't like 2.5 hours or anything. It's a little over 2 hours, so yeah, I don't know if it needed to be that, but at the same time, I didn't feel the running time as much as I have with other movies, in particular this year. And okay, for example, the other day, well, not the other day, I had seen a film called The Killing Fields, which I know is a very heavily praised movie. Accolades, Oscar nominations, etc. And that was about a guy who, in that case, in Cambodia, who saves a white guy who's able to get into the States while this other guy is left behind and try to find a way to survive. And then you have the white guy calling, trying to contact people, but then really nothing comes of it. And I wasn't really a fan of that film because I did feel the running time. It was a longer movie. I didn't really feel a big bonding relationship between these two people. Sam Waterston's character didn't really do anything to help fix the situation, alleviate the situation, etc. My issues with that film was fixed with this film, where I did buy more of the bond between Jake Gyllenhaal and the interpreter guy. I mean, they weren't playing cards or have a secret handshake or anything, but I still bought a little bit of the respect between the two. And based on their actions, Jake Gyllenhaal actually did something about it. And it doesn't go Rambo or anything, but he still goes in to do the right thing. Which I wish more people in our government had done. Because as it says at the end here, over 300 interpreters and their families were murdered after we left Afghanistan, and 1 month later Taliban took over. Over 300 interpreters and their families. And I'm guessing that's why people like Guy Ritchie made this movie. Because of stuff like that. And what we should have done is what Jake Gyllenhaal did. But people want to praise these new people. I'm sorry, I gotta go on this whole rant. Listen, I'm not a fan of. I don't talk a lot of politics because I think both sides suck. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, because I think both sides suck. I'm not saying people who vote for them suck, I'm saying the higher upper echelon of the actual people in office suck. Because they all do the same thing. They tell you what you want to hear, they tell you what you want to believe, so you can vote for them. Then when they get voted, they listen to a committee, they listen to a group of 30, 40, 50, 100 people, whatever. They play it as they just follow what they're told. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. Sometimes they get better, usually they get worse. And they're all full of shit. Now, Trump, was I a fan of Donald Trump? No. Did I think he was the devil incarnate? No. Do I think this guy we have now is worse? Honestly, yes. Because at least Donald Trump likes McDonald's, likes Bloodsport, and knew how to walk and talk. While Joe Bidet he looks like an Alzheimer's patient. And he trips over stairs, and he'll do fuck ups like these, and he, if the other guy did the same thing, he'd be roasted by everybody, but because this other guy does it, he gets a free pass. Fuck that shit. That's stupid. That's bullshit. Total fucking bullshit. So Joe Bidet can suck my dick any day. But fuck all the politics. They're all full of shit. They'll only care about themselves. Rain is wet and the sky is blue. Go fucking figure. But anyway, back to the film. Like I said, I know some people are not big Guy Ritchie fans. If that turns you off, again, this is a very un-Guy Ritchie type of movie. It doesn't go too much into politics. So if you're worried about that, it's not a very political movie. There's not a whole lot of diatribes on that, which I was fine with. I actually prefer and like it because it's just more about these two guys. One helps the other, and then one wants to save the other as a, I don't want to say payback, but as a retribution, as pay it forwards type of way. You help me, god damn it, I should go help you too. And I mean, for a film that comes out in 2023, which has been a terrible year for movies, this was a nice little surprise. I did overall like this film. So, this was a nice one. So, again, if you like Jake Gyllenhaal, you like something that's a bit more of a straightforward action war movie, this is definitely worth a look. Like I said, it's not going to win any originality points, but I thought it was fairly solid for what it needed to be. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.